Welcome to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center on the campus of IPFW for men's NCAA volleyball action. I'm Dan Gebhardt, along with Dave Skelton. We'll bring you tonight's live action between the Penn State Nittany Lions and the IPFW Volleyball. Dave, what do we know about these two teams?
Well, Dan, this should be an excellent match tonight because we've got a 4-1 Penn State team coming in to go against the 2-0 Mastodons, and these two have seen each other a lot. And last spring in the NCAA, they had a real battle. So it should be a good one.
Well, and both teams come in rated in the top 10, so we expect a really good match. Behind us, they're getting ready for the player introduction, so we're going to leave you here shortly. But stay tuned for live volleyball action.
How can you find out when lightning may strike? And how do you count the fish in the sea? How can you tell if a child is growing normally, if baseball is getting better, or traffic is getting worse? How do you know about stock market trends, the risk of cholesterol, the history of witchcraft, or the future of spacecraft? With statistics, that's how. And how can you find out about statistics? With the new Statistics series, Against All Odds.
Turn to find help for an elderly person you love. Call the Elder Care Locator at 1-800-677-1116.
Is a need in your own hometown. Please join your local chapter.
For over 2 millennia, Western society has generated a rich visual tradition of painting, sculpture, and architecture. What do these images mean? How can we understand them? Art of the Western world will take you on an exciting journey that will suggest answers to these and other questions. Beginning in ancient Greece and ending on the brink of the future, it will examine many of mankind's most enduring artistic achievements.
Carol.
Tom.
Some people still don't realize how space technology benefits everyone.
Well, you've played a detective. Why don't you give him a clue and I'll be your helper?
Okay, partner. Look at this.
Without warning, hurricanes can take a huge toll in lives and property.
But with space satellites, we now have ample warnings.
And thousands of lives have been saved.
Hey, Carol, we're a great team.
We're a great item.
Space technology.
This is what's in it for you.
Mental illness. We fear it. We laugh at it. We scorn it. We think it's shameful. But these are misunderstandings. Misunderstandings that will fade away if we see mental illness for what it really is. A medical disease. A disease that can be treated if you just know where to turn. For an informative booklet, call the American Mental Health Fund.
I believe that we can restore prosperity.
For over 40 years, the primary responsibility for shaping America's economic policies rested with the office of the president. To learn how these decisions are made and how they affect you, enroll in the Economics USA telecourse. It's an education for life.
A lot of my friends have already retired. But I wasn't ready for that. So I'm still teaching. This time in Belize, Central America. I decided to join the Peace Corps. I love my kids. And the way I figure it, I have the rest of my life to play cards.
Peace Corps. The toughest job you'll ever love.
My hero? Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Costner, Mr. Wong.
Watching College Cable Access Channel 6 at IPFW.
Welcome back to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center on the campus of IPFW for tonight's match with the Penn State Nittany Lions against the IPFW Volleyball. Again, I'm Dan Gebhardt with Dave Skelton to bring you this live action. The teams have been introduced. We've had the national anthem. Dave, we're just about ready to begin. Do you have the, actually this is the second match of the night, Dave. Do you have the results of that first match?
Well, in match number 1 tonight, Long Beach State came in and beat Ohio State, but it took them 4 games. Long Beach State over the Buckeyes 3-1.
Well, and that was a little bit surprising in itself, Dave. I think everybody expected Long Beach to come in and just kind of mop up on Ohio State.
Yeah, it wasn't a 3-straight match at all. And in fact, I think from seeing part of the first match tonight, Ohio State's an improved ball club.
Well, they certainly appeared that way. They have played a number of matches. I think they've played 18 matches already this early in the season. Penn State won the toss and elected to serve, and that was Carlos Ortiz with the service air. Side out to IPFW. Quentin Spiegel back to serve for the Volleyball. Both teams a little bit shaky here early. Number 13, Ricky Roper, back to serve for the Nittany Lions. Back set to Craig Collins out of the back row for a kill. Must have hit the antenna. Point to Penn State.
I think that was the call, that it was out.
Moldovar on the outside, dug, but there was a line in the net. Side out to IPFW.
Both teams do look a little tentative at the moment, trying to get things organized, to get things underway.
Moldovar with a serve. Block at the net by Papaleo. Another block at the net by Papaleo for a point. Ties it up 1-1. Dave, you mentioned early in our introduction there that the last time these two teams played was in the Final Four down at Ball State last year, and Penn State surprised IPFW winning in 3 straight. So there's got to be a little bit of a revenge factor, I believe.
Yeah, I would think so. Plus the fact, finally, in the last 4 or 5 matches between the two, IPFW has come out on top.
That was a block by Papaleo at the net for a point. Nice serve by Moldovar. Cannot be handled by number 13, Ricky Roper. Point for IPFW, 3-1. Dave, in the first 2 matches we've seen, IPFW has been a little slow to start, but tonight they look like they're playing pretty well here early in this first game.
And they're getting some good service right now out of Norman Moldovar.
And I talked to assistant coach Colin Leiter today during the serve and pass around. He said they were serving pretty poorly, which is usually a sign they'll serve well tonight.
Yeah, you don't want the dress rehearsal to be too good.
Kevin Hurricane back to serve. Combination out of the middle by Raul Papaleo. Point to the Dons.
Raul is playing very, very well here at the early part of the season.
Lloyd Ball back to serve and service air. Side out.
Before this evening's over, we may get a chance to take a look at Don the Mastodons' new T-shirt. I'm not sure it'll have any bearing on the outcome of the match, but it's an interesting T-shirt.
Actually, Don got refurbished, so we're hoping that brings something along with it here. So
he did look pretty fresh tonight.
Side out to the Volleyball.
Looks like he's lost a little weight too.
Back set to Relat. The Volleyball's doing a very good job at the net right now, Dave.
Great net play.
Point to the Volleyball's, 4-1. David Muir out of back row, but it's long. Another point to IPFW. 5-1.
Felipe is getting those serves in play and giving the Dons an opportunity to put some pressure on them. There was a great play at the net.
Quick attack by Ortiz. Ortiz is just a freshman, and Penn State has had a history of great setters, and it'll be interesting to see how this young freshman can come in and run his ball club. Number 15, Brian Miller, back to serve for the Lions. Sets a little low for Craig Collins, and he gets it over the net, but it's blocked down. Point for the Lions, 5-2.
Yeah, 2 freshmen and a sophomore in the lineup for Penn State.
Ortiz gets a dump. 5-3. IPFW caught a little bit flat-footed. Miller continues to serve. Quick attack in the middle isn't quite hitting. Muir's dug 2. Kill attempt is long, side out to IPFW. Raul Papaleo back to serve.
So far, Penn State's had a little difficulty gauging the length of the court.
You're out of the back row.
Pretty fair shot that time.
Number 9, Ramon Hernandez back to serve. Quick attack out of the middle, finally does connect. Quentin Spiegel with the quick set kill. Side out to IPFW. Craig Collins out of Detroit, Michigan, back to serve.
Greg, affectionately known as the Spider-Man.
Well, and he hurt his ankle early in the season, Dave, and he's just slowly recuperating. Played very little in the Ball State match. Played a little bit more in the Wisconsin-Milwaukee match, and starting tonight, so apparently we'll see him go full blow. So Carlos Ortiz back to serve. Block at the net by Muir. Number 11, Hurricane. Point Penn State, 5-4. Ortiz continues to serve. Chip attempt by Pepas into the antenna, 5-5.
Good hit down the line that time by Almodovar.
Right now, Dave, IPFW is struggling a little bit with its passing. Talked to Coach Ball a number of times, and passing is the key to running your offense. If that first pass is not good, it's difficult to run whatever you've called and whatever you want to run.
That first pass is going to determine how well you can execute your next 2 hits.
Ricky Roper back to serve for the line.
Looked like a little confusion that time between Muir and Ortiz in terms of who might go get that errant pass.
Norman back to serve. Nice short serve. Trouble handling it. Free ball to IPFW. Back row set was blocked. Just in. Side out. Penn State, number 11, Kevin Hurricane.
Things happen so fast in this game that it's amazing the reactions that the individual athletes have.
It really is, Dave. I mean, you talk about quickness in a sport, and in volleyball, I think oftentimes it's your arm quickness in volleyball, just getting your arm up. And
that's right.
Hernandez out of the middle, wide. Point IPFW, 6-5. Loy Ball back to serve. Gonna go up. Service air. That's about 4 or 5, I think, this match already,
Yes.
Dave.
In fact, Felipe may have been about the only one who was consistently getting his serve in play.
David Muir back to serve. Ball doesn't make it across the net. 6-6.
Has all the appearances at the beginning here of being a nip and tuck match all the way through.
Collins again doesn't make it across the net. Appears to me, Dave, that set's just a little low for Collins. It looks like he wants it about a foot or two higher so he can get a full arm swing.
A little bit low, and he's not getting squared away at it and having to try to get a good swing at the ball while his body's at an angle.
IPFW finally connects, but Pepa Relat in the net. Timeout to IPFW. They trail 8-6 here early in game one.
Senior forward Sean Gibson needed 13 points to become IPFW.
Well, these two teams tonight, Dan,
Although IPFW suffered its third defeat,
are fairly well matched, it looks like, in terms of the spread between upperclassmen and new people, except that the lower class people for IPFW are the sophomores, and the Penn State has a couple of freshmen. This college cable access sports presentation is underwritten in part by a grant from the Cable Access Incorporated of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
There you see a picture of the large crowd. We'll be back here tomorrow night, so if you didn't make it out tonight, I suggest you try to make it out. It's quite an atmosphere here at IPFW when we get a crowd like this with a Division I level volleyball.
4 very good teams.
David Muir after the timeout served long. Pepa Relat back to serve. Picking on Ricky Roper. Back set to David Muir. Brian Miller back to serve for the Lions.
And Brian takes a very deep stance on his service.
Raul Papaleo back to serve again, picking on Ricky Roper. Kill attempt by Roper's long.
Very long and into the net.
Again, talking to Arnie, he says that when you don't have much of a swing, you try to hit it off somebody's hands, and that just didn't work. Again, they're really going at Roper, who's struggling right now. Service ace by Papaleo. Had 5 of them in the match against Wisconsin-Milwaukee last Friday night.
Penn State a little disorganized at the moment.
Short serve by Papaleo. He's serving really well. Nice back row attack by David Muir.
It's pretty obvious here in a hurry that David Muir can hit that ball and hit it hard.
David Muir's traveled quite a bit, Dave. I'm not sure I know his whole history. I know he's from Evanston, Illinois. Played with a pretty powerful USVBA team up there while he was in high school. Looked at IPFW at one time. Ended up going to, I believe, George Mason before transferring to Penn State. So he's been around. He brings a lot of experience to this Nittany Lion lineup.
He's an excellent player.
He and Hernandez will get most of the sets. Ricky Roper off the block.
And Ricky, a senior out of the Virgin Islands.
Ramon Hernandez back. No, that's Carlos Ortiz. Passed out of bounds by the Lions.
Both teams a little disorganized that time, but Penn State hits the ball out of bounds.
Quentin Spiegel, the senior co-captain, serving.
Nice dig by Raul.
Ricky Roper on the double combination. Side out to Penn State.
We're about halfway through this first game with an 8-8 tie.
Ricky Roper back to serve.
This could be the kind of evening when 15 points isn't enough to win a game.
Right. Couple nice digs by both teams. Hernandez long, but IPFW in the net. Point to the Nittany Lions. They go up 9-8. Ricky Roper continues to serve. IPFW did some nice digging there and nice hustle, and we've seen a lot of that from this team this year already, Dave. David Muir off the block. Point to Penn State. 10-8.
The officials for this match tonight are the umpire, Patty Salvatore, down on the floor, and the referee, Tom Pingle, on the stand.
Quick attack is blocked back. Coming right back at him. Another point. Brian Miller out of the middle. Excuse me, Kevin Hurricane. Roper continues to serve.
After a pretty shaky start, Penn State's beginning to put it together pretty well.
Again, IPFW really struggling with its passing right now. And Loy Ball has to try to tip, and it's out wide. Makes it 12-8, Penn State.
Second timeout by the Dons.
Dave, these teams have a couple of common opponents. Ball State, who we opened up with and beat in 4, played over in the Nittany Lion tournament last weekend and actually beat Penn State 3 games to 2. Also in that same tournament was the University of Puerto Rico from Mike West, who we played when we were down in Puerto Rico in spring break and beat 2 out of 3. And Penn State beat them 3-0 in one game. So
we can expect this one to stay pretty tight, can't we, tonight? The College Cable Access Program Guide provides information about our programming, including IPFW sports telecasts. To receive your free Channel 6 program guide, send your name, address, and zip code to College Cable Access Center at IPFW, 2101 Coliseum Boulevard East, Fort Wayne, Indiana, with a zip code of 46805-1499.
IPFW again after that timeout. Lack of communication lets the ball drop in play. Penn State goes up 13-8. Arnie Ball, who's used both of his substitutions, brings in Chad Blatchley, who was kind of a real spark plug in the Ball State match. Didn't play with a sore hip against Wisconsin-Milwaukee last week, so we'll see if he can come and give that same kind of spark to this team tonight. Norman Amaldavar received a yellow card after that play. Back set to Craig Collins, off the block. Side out to IPFW. Chad Blatchley back to serve.
So the momentum that Penn State had going is finally broken by the Dons. Now they need to get back into that scoring column.
Double block at the net by Pepa and Raul. Loy Ball through the block, off the set from Papaleo. 13-9.
Chad Blatchley for his second serve.
Blocked out of bounds. Point IPFW. 13-10. Penn State going to take a quick timeout here.
So we have the momentum killer attempt by the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Well, Coach Tom Peterson doesn't want to let IPFW crawl back into this match. And IPFW's last time out didn't work for IPFW. They lost the next point, so we hope that the same thing happens here.
Tom Peterson in his 6th year with the Penn State Nittany Lions. 1978 graduate out of Brigham Young University. His only head coaching has been at Penn State.
There you see a good picture of the Don and the new attire that Dave was talking about. Can't reiterate enough the spirit and the atmosphere here at college men's volleyball game.
The student interest has picked up. The community interest, it's really great.
Blatchley continues to serve. Nice dig by Collins. Nice block at the net. Number 15, Brian Miller off the block, side out to the Lions.
So the timeout did successfully stop the IPFW run.
Number 2, Michael Shaw into the lineup. Dave, I believe, if memory serves me right, Michael Shaw was their starting setter last year, so the freshman Ortiz has come in and taken that position away from him.
Michael at the moment is in the lineup for another freshman, Kevin Hurricane.
Overpass kill puts Penn State at 14. This Shaw will serve for game number 1. Almost another overpass though, Dave. Puts Loy Ball at a real disadvantage trying to.
The passing is going to have to sharpen up.
And again, Coach Ball has said that a number of times. Passing is the key to anything. And I know that Norman did not pass very well. Actually, Norman passed very well when we made the Puerto Rico trip. I happened to be with him, and I thought he played very, very well down there, particularly passing. But coming back against Ball State and even against Wisconsin-Milwaukee, struggled a little bit. And we saw that same thing from Norman tonight. Brought Chad Blatchley, and they went right at Blatchley, and he struggled a little bit. So that's the key, is finding somebody who can pass the ball.
There we see on the screen a good shot of the crowd here tonight, and it's a nice crowd. We'll be right back for IPFW volleyball action right after these brief messages.
My hero, Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Costner, Mr. Wong.
These are teachers, but to the kids they've reached, they're heroes.
My hero, Mrs. Wooten. If I don't get through to that child, who knows, maybe no one else will.
Teachers have the power to wake up young minds, to be heroes, to make a difference. Reach for that power. Teach. Find out how by calling 1-800-45-TEACH. Be a teacher. Be a hero.
What comes to your mind when you think about mathematics? Clowns, street sweepers, the Red Sox, robots, the weather, earthquakes, Disney World, pineapples, conventions, parking tickets, fishing? If these practical applications of contemporary mathematics didn't make your list, you should watch public television's math series For All Practical Purposes.
You made it! Hey, I couldn't have gotten through physics without you.
Yeah, well, you're on your own at college.
It's not fair.
That's all right. I'm going to get a job, you know. I'm going to start working. I'm going to save. And I'll be in college in another year or two.
So, what do you have planned, Mike?
I think we'll go home and make a sandwich. Okay.
Support the United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Penn State Nittany Lions win game number 1 here in the Hilliard Gate Sports Center, 15-10.
And Dan, a very similar thing a year ago in this very same Invitational Classic. First game, Penn State came in and defeated IPFW 15-9. Then IPFW came back and took the next 3 games. So let's hope that there's a continuation of that pattern here tonight, and that the Dons can get this thing turned around a little bit.
Well, Dave, looking down the roster, you see some very interesting things. And number 1 is, as we know, there are probably 3 areas of this part of the world that are very strong in volleyball. That's California, the East Coast, Pennsylvania, New York, and those kind of areas, and also the Caribbean. And both teams have done apparently have put some kind of a pipeline into the Caribbean, because both of them have, well, actually Penn State has 3 players, 2 from Puerto Rico, 1 from the Virgin Islands. IPFW has 4 players, 3 from Puerto Rico and 1 from Jamaica. And again, I know that Arnie feels real good about the players, the skill level that those players from Puerto Rico bring up, particularly when they come up here.
Yeah, both of these programs have a connection with the islands.
IPFW made us early preseason trip down to Puerto Rico, and Penn State's going down on their spring break, so both of them will be visiting Puerto Rico.
Looks like we have same lineups for game 2 as we had at the beginning of game 1.
IPFW will begin serving here in game number 2. Raul Papaleo back. There's a good shot of the senior co-captain. Dave, nobody works harder than Raul.
And he gets the first one in.
For an ace.
That's a good way to start it.
It's a good way. Dump is blocked. 2-0 here early in game number 2. Papaleo continues to serve. Spiegel there on your screen with the block. Norman back in the game for Chad Blatchley. He's blocked. Side out Penn State. Number 8, Carlos Ortiz back to serve.
Carlos, a freshman, one of the players out of Puerto Rico.
Net serve. Craig Collins. Sophomore out of Detroit, Michigan, Cody High School. Nice hands by Ortiz. Almost looked like he laid that ball there to be hit.
Very good execution.
Again, right now Penn State's doing a pretty nice job passing the ball, and that's real important.
Nice recovery that time by Raul Papaleo, and then the block at the net by Loy Ball.
Well, it was a little bit of an overpass. Actually, Loy could have handled it, but he thought it was going to go deeper, so he went up for the block. Hurricane hit right back into his hands, and it was down for a side out. Quentin Spiegel picking on Ricky Roper. Hernandez from the back row, not very hard, blocked at the net. Tape up ball and a Moldovar all right there.
And Ramon's not too happy with his hit that time.
Spiegel into the net. Service air. A lot of service air tonight. I know they're trying to serve tough, but you can't score without getting the ball in play. Dave.
That's exactly right. The other team doesn't have to do a thing, and you're dead in the water.
Norman passing better this game. Craig Collins out of the back row. Ball's a little bit higher. We talked about that in the first game. He wants to get that full arm swing, and he couldn't quite get it. There he was able to.
He got all of that one, too.
Norman Amaldabar, the junior out of Puerto Rico. Another nice hands by Ortiz. Right now they're attacking the middle and having some success with that. Side out to Penn State. David Muir back to serve. 3-0. IPFW leads here in game number 2. Collins in the back. Side out IPFW. And Loy Ball back to serve. Looks like Loy's going to go up. Service ace. Dave, remember last year against Stanford in the Final Four, we down 2-0, and Arnie started sending Loy and Norman up in particular, and we came back to tie the match at 2-2.
Yes, that was a tremendous match. Great block at the net.
Collins and Relat, double block, straight down, 5-0. Tom Peterson's going to call a timeout here quick.
And IPFW's level of play has definitely picked up a notch. Their execution is sharper. The plays are there.
We've seen that a lot from IPFW this year already, Dave. They tend to play at the same level as their competition, and they're capable of playing at a much higher level than we certainly saw in the first game. And as you mentioned, they're playing that way right now. So
Penn State is playing well. There's no doubt about that. But IPFW's play at the start of this game, and for these first 5 points, has been very sharp.
The key here, I think, is to not let Penn State get back in the ballgame, which we have a habit of doing, and letting the other team get right back into the ballgame at times.
Ball continues serve for Fort Wayne.
Crowd here tonight enjoying this match as they did the first match, won by Long Beach State over Ohio State, 3-1. There's the man that can really hit the ball, at David Muir.
Miller back to serve for the Lions. Overpass by Papaleo, killed by Ricky Roper. 5-1. Now's the time to shut him out.
It's almost like you want to check to see if the sharpness was left on one of those chairs down there during the timeout.
Well, that's the reason you take a timeout, Dave. As a opposing coach, you hope that's what happens. Pepa back, service error. Too many of these service errors. Ramon Hernandez back for the Lions. There's the advantage of a 6'9" setter, Dave. That was going to be an overpass, and he's able to reach up and bring it right back into play. Raul back to serve. Senior out of Caguas, Puerto Rico.
Raul gets it in play.
Not sure what Muir was doing there. You don't want your big hitters to dink that ball. You want them to put it away with some authority. As hard as he hits the ball, Dave, the chances of that being blocked back into the court are probably pretty slim.
That's right.
Service there by Raul. Arnie calling a lot of serves to zone 1 and zone 5. And we've been making some errors down the lines. But so is Penn State. Ortiz serves wide. Craig Collins back to serve. Overpass kill attempt dug by Ricky Roper. And Muir with the kill.
And that was a real nice dig by Roper because Loy had it, the thing zeroed in and really came down on it, but he got to it.
Roper back to serve. Pass by Amaldabar and set to Amaldabar. Digs in the rafters. Quentin Spiegel back to serve for the Volleyball.
Quentin Spiegel back to serve.
Quentin, one of 2 seniors, getting a lot of playing time.
IPFW in the net.
Sign out, Penn State.
Number 11, Kevin Hurricane. Back to serve. Double block at the net by Brian Miller and David Muir. Point, Penn State, 6-2.
Hurricane to serve.
Craig Collins stumbling there a little bit. Did he take that back in the chops?
He might have.
Miss hit by Roulat.
Great reactions on both parts here. And the play to IPFW.
Loy getting a little enthusiastic there. Pingle considering whether to give him a yellow card or not, and Hernandez calling for it, but Pingle decided not to. Norman Amaldabar back to serve. Good serve.
Yeah, I think Pingle was making the mental note.
Actually, I think Penn State got lucky on that one. That was a great serve by Amaldabar. David Muir back to serve. Combination with Papaleo getting the call. Volleyball back to serve.
Great execution that time with Raul finishing it off.
Boy, going to go up. Service 8. 7-2. Into the net.
Looks like he might have changed his mind in midair that time as to the exact location he wanted to go to.
Brian Miller back to serve for the Lions. Nice pass by Raul. Quick attack out of the middle. Doug. Back set to Muir with the kill. 7-3.
David Muir. Tremendous player.
Boy, it reminds me a lot of Freddie Malcolm, who used to play here at IPFW out of the back row. When you needed a side out, you went to Freddie.
That ball that time handcuffed Raul.
7-4.
It's amazing how that ball will come across there and be floating and dancing around like a knuckleball in baseball.
Collins with a kill. You're right, Dave. Oftentimes from the side angle with the cameras, we don't see that ball float like that. But if you ever stand at the ends, the ball's just moving all around.
Coming straight at you, it'll dance.
The Hoyt Wilhelm look. Block is out of bounds. That's what we talked about a minute ago. If Muir winds up, it's difficult to keep that ball in play. Ramon Hernandez. Overpass.
And they make you pay.
Ortiz with a kill. 7-5. They've climbed right back into it. Just what IPFW didn't want to let happen. Tipped by Papaleo's Doug. Coming back by Ricky Roper, but it's blocked at the net by Collins. Side out IPFW.
Craig, a 6'5" sophomore out of Detroit, Michigan, can really play the net.
Service ace by Raul. I think that's 3 tonight at least, Dave.
Brian Miller changed his mind right at the last minute, let that ball fall for the Nittany Lions, and it was in.
Raul continues to serve.
And Raul is one who serves that dancing knuckleball up there.
Roy can't handle it. Out of bounds. Side out to the Nittany Lions. 8-5. IPFW leads here. Carlos Ortiz. Short serve from Moldovar. Back set to Pepa Relat. Ricky Roper. Nice dig by Ball.
And a great save by Raul off the sideline.
Muir hits through the block. Point Penn State, 8-6. IPFW hustling though, Dave. They don't want that ball to touch the ground.
That's right.
It's enjoyable to watch them at least make that kind of effort. Ortiz serves long, service air.
Well, we're seeing action here tonight by two teams, both ranked in the top 10 in the nation, and they're not letting us down.
Blocked right back into the head and over the net. Collins into the net. Again, not quite high enough, I don't think. I don't think Loy's getting high enough for Collins out here on the side.
No, when he does, why, Craig's been putting it down.
Ricky Roper to serve. Loy with the dump, but it's Doug, and I've seen that a lot this year. Loy's got to be more aware of that. That play has got to be successful just about 90% of the time, or it's invaluable to the
or
team.
don't use it. Yeah.
Norman cranking it up. Muir with the kill, ties it at 8-8. Very similar to what we saw in game number 1.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just exactly how game 1 progressed.
Crowd wants to get fired up here, Dave. Spiegel blocked in the middle. 9-8.
Kevin Hurricane has done a pretty decent job up there at the net for the Nittany Lions, number 11.
Hurricane 6'7". Doesn't really look that big until he stands around some of his teammates. Norman down the line, wide, out of bounds. Arnie Ball calls a timeout, 10-8. The Nittany Lions move out in front.
The Dons need to get this turned around again after leading, what, 8-4 a little while ago?
Yep. Channel 6 tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. to watch the Long Beach State University 49ers take on the IPFW Volleyball. Catch all the action of IPFW Volleyball right here on Channel 6. There you see Don talking to linesman Lauren Giebert. The other linesman is Bill Barone. This is a great, great tournament, Dave. We have great teams in here every year, and I think IPFW just puts on a really nice show for the community of Fort Wayne.
And the crowds have grown, particularly in these last couple of years, to really reflect the caliber of play that's available.
Ricky Roper serving. This is where you want to have a side out.
Pop, and they got it.
Tape up from the back row.
Carlos Ortiz was disappointed that he couldn't dig that out, but he did a tremendous job to even get. I'm sorry, it wasn't Carlos. It was
Hernandez.
Romano.
But Spiegel served into the net. It's what you don't want. Got to have some senior leadership.
I think that's called shooting yourself in the foot. There was a good high set, and Craig Collins came down with that one.
But they call a back row attack.
Ah, yes.
And was a very good call. He was across the line by a good foot. And actually, I think that was Collins' fault. I think the set was in the right place.
Yeah, yeah. Just awareness as to where he was, and he kind of lost track.
Part of it, I think, is, Dave, that he hasn't been able to play very much. Hurt his ankle in the second match in Puerto Rico and really has not played very much since then. That was the second week of January.
He has it heavily bandaged tonight. Seems to be operating with it okay.
Moldovar with the serve. Quick attack out of the middle by Hernandez. Side out for Penn State. Muir back to serve.
Game 2, and the Dons are trailing 11-8.
Looked like it might have been long.
Might have been, but it was dropping too. It's hard to tell.
Collins' hit attempt would have been long too, I think, except for Ricky Roper tried to save it. Yep. Loy ball to serve. We need a couple of good serves here, and Arnie's going to send him up. Serves air. Not a good choice, I don't think. I don't mind going up, but you got to get that serve in.
Yeah, yeah. We're at a point in the match where we need the serve in play.
Miller. Collins doesn't make it over the net. 12-8. Craig having a lot of trouble right now with hitting errors.
And that sharpness and crispness that was there at the beginning of this second game seems to have eluded the Dons again for a while.
I thought Collins was under the net there, but Patty Salvatore doesn't call it. But it doesn't matter. Ricky Roper blocks it straight down. 13-8. As you said, Dave, IPFW almost appears to be going through the motions. No spirit, no fire out there at all.
So Chad Blatchley's coming in to see if he can't pick things up just a little bit here with the score 13-8 in favor of Penn State.
Nice serve by Miller. Spiegel with a kill attempt against the wall.
He had hoped there would have been a touch up near the net, but I don't believe there was. Game point for the Nittany Lions.
Papaleo off the block. It's Doug. Muir from the back with a tip. Good.
And game 2 goes to Penn State.
Not only has IPFW dug themselves a deep hole, but Dave, as you mentioned, they led 8-4 and gave up the next 11 points without scoring one on their own.
Just couldn't get it back in sync.
Here you see the replay of that final point. Muir going to get the kill. Dump. Just taps it over.
I'm really impressed with the play of what we've seen so far of David Muir for Penn State.
Well, he's touted as a preseason All-American, as is Ramon Hernandez, as is Raul and Loy. And right now, I'd say of the four, he's the one who's shown the most. Well, Penn State has taken a 2-0 lead. IPFW's dug themselves a deep hole. It's going to be tough to get out of. But they just have to put their noses to the grindstone.
And it could be done. It could be done.
We'll be right back for more IPFW volleyball action right after these brief messages.
This is a College Update Minute. I'm Janet Toby. IPFW's Larry Life is starring in the comedy classic Charlie's Aunt at the First Presbyterian Theater this weekend. The play is about 3 college students who are trying to impress some girls. Life plays Lord Fancourt Babberley, who dresses up as Charlie's aunt. Tickets are $5 for students, and the show is at 8 p.m. Friday and Saturday and at 2 p.m. on Sunday at the First Presbyterian Theater on West Wayne Street. A memorial service was held Monday for IPFW choral director and associate professor of music John Lacey. Lacey, who has been with the IPFW since 1974, passed away on January 1st. The Writing Center is now open for students who want help with their writing skills. It's located on the basement of Kettler Hall in G35. Tutors are available Monday to Thursday from noon to 3, Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and Wednesday and Thursday evenings from 7 to 9, and Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. Students who anticipate needing help for an assignment or who would like to develop their writing skills in general should sign up for an appointment. The sign-up sheet is located outside the Writing Center. For College Update, I'm Janet Toby.
Welcome back. As we said, IPFW's dug themselves a deep hole here. They trailed 2-0, losing game number 1, 15-10, game number 2, 15-8. I watched Arnie during that timeout. He doesn't look very happy.
I'll bet he's not, and I'm sure it's a matter of really, Dan, it looks like just tightening down on the execution. And if the execution were there, then they can get right back into this match.
Well, Dave, I think you were at the Final Four last year against Penn State, and it appeared that we just never really got into the match mentally.
No, that's right. And it was.
And that's almost what it looks like tonight, the first 2 games here. It's like we're not in the game mentally.
We may see a new face or two in the lineup for this 3rd game. And we see Don the Mastodons getting ready, though. He's got his play partner down there that they're having a good time here tonight.
The kids love Don, don't they?
Oh, the young man does a tremendous job.
And I'll tell you what, Dave, I'm awful hot in this gymnasium. I got to believe he's pretty hot in that outfit.
Yes, I don't envy his job at all.
Well, we're getting ready to start game number 3 here. IPFW with a major substitution with Peter Kuyak, sophomore out of Galesville, Wisconsin, in for Craig Collins. Again, Craig apparently still hampered by that sore foot. On the other side of the net, it looks like Penn State going with their starters.
I think it's the same 6 that they've started each of the first 2 games.
Carlos Ortiz back to serve, begin serve for game number 3. Quick set to Relat, Doug. It's blocked down by Relat and ball.
Okay, so we start the game with 1 good block. Now we've got to keep it up and keep doing that kind of thing.
Well, and that typically hasn't happened. As you said, they started real strong in game number 2 and got up 8-2, I think, at one point in time.
And the service error just keeps us from having any opportunity at scoring right off the bat.
Ricky Roper back. Blocked by Muir and Hurricane. Point for the Lions. Ricky Roper to serve. Service ace.
Great serve. Great serve. Raul gave it all he could to return it, but that was a tough serve.
A little janitorial work down on the floor. Roper waiting.
That too can slow the momentum down a little bit.
Yeah, we've seen teams come in here and use that almost as a timeout.
Ohio State's notorious, or used to be.
Yeah, they haven't done that too much lately.
No, they haven't.
Kuyak from the back row. Felipe Relat, sophomore from Ponce, Puerto Rico. Lift by Ortiz. Point to IPFW. Carlos Ortiz, also from Ponce, Puerto Rico.
And we get off of the goose egg here. Chance to tie it up. And they do.
Blocked by Papaleo. 2-2. Paper continues to serve. For Ricky Roper, who can't handle it. David Muir goes deep into the chairs. Service ace for Ralat.
David Muir might have had a better shot at that if his injured teammate could have moved a little faster, but he was moving on one leg.
Lift by Ortiz.
And all of a sudden, Penn State's a little bit out of sync.
Dave, we've seen that happen so much in the game of volleyball. The momentum just shifts.
And you can never tell for sure how quickly.
In fact, I don't know if you watched the other night. North Carolina play Florida State on TV, and Florida State up by 21 points with 9 minutes left to go, and they lose the ball game. That's what volleyball reminds me of, that shift in momentum where things are go so well for you, all of a sudden you can't do anything right. Pepa Ralat through the block. Side out to IPFW. Raul Papaleo back to serve.
And the crowd's getting back into the match now, particularly the student group.
Service there by Papaleo. Arnie puts his head down.
But IPFW now back on top with a 4-2 lead here in game 3.
David Muir. Back set to Spiegel through the block. Spiegel back to serve.
IPFW call breaking the verticality rule or whatever that is over the too far over the net.
You can actually do that unless it's going to ball's going to be set. And here we're going to see a replay, and I really didn't think it was going to be set here when it was played right there. That was going to be a hit. Maybe I don't understand the rule, Dave, but it appeared to me that...
Yeah, I agree with you.
Arnie didn't complain too much, but IPFW makes a mental mistake right after that. Penn State gets a point, 4-3. Brian Miller back to serve. Nice serve. That ball just dove. Spiegel from the back row. Kill for the side out. Peter Kuyak back to serve.
Peter Kuyak back to serve.
Into the net. Another service error.
Haven't kept track of the service errors, but they certainly have had a lot.
Ramon Hernandez. Back set to Spiegel. Miller digs it into the fans. Norman Amaldivar back to serve.
Norman needs to get that ball in play, and let's see what we can go after now. That'll do for starters.
Nice, great dig by Norman, and a great play at the net by Pepa. The ball was going to dug almost in a straight line into the net, line drive, and Pepa just stuck his hand up and misdirected the ball into the open court. Back set to Spiegel for a kill. 6-3.
And we're approaching that critical point for IPFW. In both of the first two games, the first 8 points weren't our problem.
Really gone to Spiegel right now.
Raul playing very aggressively up at the net.
But there goes Lloyd trying to hit the ball. Doesn't work again.
Really
Penn State doing a great job defensively.
They really are. Great point.
Both teams played real well there, but you got to give Penn State a lot of credit. That ball was typically coming at them pretty hard, and they kept that ball alive. Carlos Ortiz, here you're going to see the replay. Hurricane straight down.
I think you mentioned a while ago, Dan, that Hurricane is kind of a quiet player, but when he's up there in the middle of the net, he's a force.
I think Lloyd's got to read that. Right now we're going into him, and he's doing a real nice job blocking. Service error by Ortiz. Side out. Lloyd ball. Combination with Ricky Roper on the receiving end. Off the block, out of bounds.
Ricky had a lot of force on that one.
Peter Kuyak from the back row's dug, though, to David Moore. Kuyak again from the back row, dug by Hernandez. IPFW, good reaction. Spiegel with a block. Side out to IPFW. We're back to serve.
Carlos Ortiz again with those very soft hands, and he sets that ball up, and the hitters come at it.
Hurricane serving. Combination with Papaleo, but it's dug by Hurricane. Got to give Penn State a lot of credit. They've been playing very well defensively. IPFW not real crisp at the net. 6-5. IPFW still leads here, but Penn State whittling away.
And this is game 3 for the Mastodons. They've got to come through. More play of that nature will do it.
It's really about the first time we've been successful, though, out of the middle. Papaleo back to serve.
Yeah, even Raul, who's usually pretty reliable on the serve, coming up with the error here.
David Muir back to serve. There you see the frustration on Arnie Ball's face.
Great dig again by David Muir. He's not only a hitter up at the front, he digs him out. But a great play by Norman Almodovar.
Quentin Spiegel back to serve. Miscommunication again on IPFW's part. Nice job of keeping the ball in play. Side out to Penn State. Brian Miller back to serve. Nice serve. Boy with the dump. Side out to IPFW. Penn State's not going to roll over and play dead, are they, Dave?
No, they're not. And the Dons needed that last play. But they didn't need that quite so badly.
Arnie Ball loses a little bit more hair. Again, we don't have stats up here, so we don't know how they're doing, but it's they're really struggling right now.
Yeah, the service part of the game tonight has really been a struggle.
Almodovar across court for the kill. Norman to serve. Muir with the kill off the block. Ortiz to serve. Spiegel through the block.
Quentin's getting back into the game now.
Lloyd's using him pretty heavily on that right side. I think that was a good serve, Dave.
Yes, it was.
Penn State was real indecisive, but I think it was going to be good if they hadn't handled it. So
yeah, Hernandez changed his mind at the last minute. A little indecisive, but it was a good serve.
Boy, going to go up. 7-5. Oh, Hernandez down the line. That may have been the hardest ball we've seen tonight.
He's checking his arm at the moment, too.
Here you see the replay right down the line. Papaleo with a combination, comes right back. Same play. Pepe to serve. Muir off the block. Hurricane to serve.
Great play by Papaleo.
We haven't seen much of Raul in the hitting.
No, we haven't
tonight. Raul back to serve. Double block by Kuliak and Stiegel.
And for the last two servers, it has appeared that Coach Ball has wanted to start them both out with a serve that would absolutely be in play.
And they've been successful with it.
Yes, they have.
Bowman off the block.
And we got off of that 8 before they caught us. Maybe that's a good omen now. IPFW leading 9-5.
9-5. Tom Peterson standing up. I thought he was going to take a timeout, but blocked straight down by Almodovar.
Well, you're right. He was ready for the timeout, and now he takes it.
Penn State takes the timeout. IPFW leads 10-5. Here in Game 3, they trail 2-0 in this best-of-5 match.
And we see the IPFW banner, newly designed IPFW banner, being displayed by the students across the way.
There you saw the replay of the block right down on Carlos Ortiz's head.
You too can join in the excitement of IPFW athletics by participating in the Royal Dons Club. The Royal Dons Club is the official booster club for all IPFW athletic teams. Members enjoy priority seating at all IPFW sporting events, food and refreshments in the hospitality room, admissions to IPFW sports media luncheons, and association with other Mastodon supporters, just to name a few benefits. For more information on becoming a member of the Royal Dons Club, call Lisa Moreland at 481-6027.
Well, the timeout doesn't work, Dave, for Penn State. Well, a lot of miscommunication, poorly handled ball, and Muir hits it into the net.
Dons came back with another point. Penn
Mike
State
Shaw
makes a substitution.
Yep, Shaw comes in back in. The only sub I think we've seen for Penn State all night. Raul continues to serve. Overpass. Ortiz tried to bring it back, but he's not 6'9", and he carries the ball.
The overpass, in whatever way, shape, or form you try to handle it, just creates all kinds of problems for the team.
And it makes Tom Peterson call his second timeout and 2 points. You got 2 a game. You got to use them, I guess. 12-5 here in game number 3.
And the cheerleaders get out and encourage the fans to cheer on the Mastodons. We've talked about other aspects of the program here a little bit, Dan, but the cheerleading squad this year, very impressive group, very loyal group.
Well, and it's much more exciting for them, Dave, when you have a good student following, and as you mentioned earlier, that the students
Somebody's going to
started to get behind that. That's right. Also like to mention, and I heard this earlier on the PA system, that Thursday night in the loss to Lewis, IPFW's men's basketball senior co-captain Sean Gibson set a new school record for most points scored in a career.
Career leading scorer. Tremendous effort by the young man over his 4-year career.
I believe he's also the leading rebounder. Is that correct?
I think so.
So he's got at least those 2 records and many, many more, and he's only about 2/3 of the way through his senior season. Papaleo back to serve. 12-5. During the timeout, Carlos Ortiz was given a yellow card. Not sure why. Must have said something to the official that wasn't appreciated. Side out to Penn State. David Muir back to serve. Back set to Rolak. Yeah. It is refreshing, Dave, to see that we have a lot of power out of the back row on that right side. We've always had at least one good hitter out of there, but I'd say 3 or 4 players can go from that back row this year. Blatchley into the lineup for Quentin Spiegel.
And at 12-5, it would be nice to see him just go ahead and serve out this game.
IPFW in the net. Brian Miller back to serve. IPFW trying to be aggressive, but still making some mental mistakes, Dave.
Yes, they are. If they can just minimize those and hang on to this game, they're right back in things.
Scott Lauer going to come in for Peter Kuyak. Arnie pulling all the stops out here to play defense in the back row.
Scott's a sophomore out of Monroe, Michigan. Again, the service error.
And that's why you bring those guys in, not to make service errors.
Time after time tonight.
Number 2, Michael Shaw. Ramon Hernandez back to serve.
Hernandez to serve. Going to go up. Almodovar across the court. Right at the 3-meter line. Norman back to serve. Arnie wants to call a timeout.
Timeout by the Mastodons. This might be a good opportunity, Dan, to take one of those special opportunities in the course of an evening and say a thank you to somebody who kind of plays an indirect role in some of the aspects of the athletic program. But Mary down in the physical plant, who does the scheduling of the vehicles, happy birthday tomorrow.
Is that her birthday tomorrow?
And the crowd's getting ready to go with the Go Big Blue.
Well, Dave, I've had the feeling all night the crowd just wants to break loose. They've had a couple opportunities during points, but I think if we'd get to 14, we'd see a pretty big roar out of this crowd for point number 15.
They're really itching for that opportunity to stand up and go for that game-winning point.
I'm not sure why Arnie called the timeout. I noticed he tossed his clipboard away in disgust, so he obviously had a reason. That reason may have been to say, let's get this serve in.
Yeah.
Norman Almodovar back to serve. And he does. David Muir out of the back row. Never made it across the net. 13-5. Norman continues to serve.
And this is the time where we need just good execution for 2 more points.
Oh, nice serve. Nice dig by Ortiz. Oh, nice play by IPFW.
Ah, yeah.
And it worked.
Now the crowd gets that chance to stand.
14-5.
Go for the winner.
Almodovar. Peterson going to make a substitution here. Actually, number 17, Ed Josepowski, had been in the lineup. Dave, I didn't even notice that change. Brian Miller comes back in for Ed.
Must have snuck him into the lineup during that last timeout.
Muir again doesn't get it across the net.
So now the Dons have this thing going in a little bit better direction, having won game 3, 15-5.
Still got an uphill battle, but that's some nice momentum to take into game number 4.
You see David Muir that time, and I don't think it even took a block. He didn't look like he quite got it up to the top of the net.
Actually, Dave, I think his last 3 kill attempts were short, so we'll be right back for more IPFW volleyball action right after these brief messages.
Drive home safe. Remember to strap yourselves in with your safety belts. You don't want to end up like Eddie. Belt up. Don't be a dummy.
Bonjour. French in Action. Opening a new era in language learning. A television course in 52 lessons centers around a wonderful romantic comedy filmed entirely on location in France. The story of Mireille, Robert, Marie-Laure, and the mysterious man in black will help you to learn, to understand, and to speak French. Watch French in Action.
After dating the guy forever, you think I could tell him anything. Why is this so hard? I'm really scared.
It takes a lot of guts to tell someone he's too drunk to drive. But you can do it. Just say it. Because if you don't, there may be nothing left to say.
Kevin, I'm gonna drive.
Take the keys, call a cab, take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
It's a top priority with many Hoosiers today. Good job. Tech in Fort Wayne specializes in training good people for good jobs. The skilled jobs Indiana's future needs.
IV Tech, what Indiana needs to grow. Call for enrollment information.
Oh, we're just about ready to start game 4 here. IPFW loses game number 1 15-10, loses game number 2 15-8, comes back and wins game number 3 15-5, and should take some good momentum into game number 4 with them, Dave.
Yeah, they kind of got things turned around in the third game and kept Penn State kind of back on the defensive and on their heels a little bit, and thus not able to come back and get into that third game.
Both teams taking the floor. Looks like Arnie's going to go with the same lineup that started game number 3 with some success. Penn State going with its original lineup again. IPFW will start serving tonight.
And getting that serve in play may be the key to this game number 4.
Maybe the key to the whole match, Dave.
You're right.
We haven't done very well all night long. Volleyball will start serving, and he does get it in with some English on the ball. Tip kill by Hernandez.
Hernandez back to serve.
Ramon Hernandez back to serve. Looked to me almost like Quentin Spiegel hit that ball into the net. Excuse me.
Pretty close.
Blocked by Spiegel. Yeah, great block by Spiegel. And that's going to be key taking that into if we go into game number 5, because as you know, it's rally scoring, and you're going to have to get some blocks at the net.
Well, Quentin's one of our 2 seniors that play a lot, and he's got to help pick it up.
Dump kill by Ortiz. Ortiz back to serve.
And a little cleanup job, drying the floor for a moment, as official Salvatore returns to the sideline.
Ortiz back to serve. Raul Papaleo to serve for the Volleyball.
Again, the serve in play. And even though they don't score, the serve was in play, and that's the first step. You can't go any further without it.
Muir did a really nice job there. You know, he hit 3 into the net, and the ball wasn't real high. He got the ball across and had some overspin on the ball, brought it down. Blocked at the net by Miller. Point for Penn State, 1-1.
In the early part of this game 4, Dan, looks like Penn State has shaken off some of the cobwebs from game 3. Except there, that overpass will kill you.
Norman with a tip. The overpass, and he gets the kill. Ortiz looks like he's getting a little bit hot. He better settle down a little bit. He already has a yellow card. Quentin Spiegel back to serve. Nice dig by Spiegel. But Norman Amaldabar hits the kill attempt way long. Side out to Penn State. Hurricane. Norman with the overpass, but Loy again stayed big enough to get up there and change its direction and gets it in play.
Misdirection was exactly what took place.
Kuyak. Nice play by both Raul and Loy. And Kuyak with the back row kill. That's the kind of play that ought to get you fired up. Peter continues to serve. And he serves an air. Arnie is going nuts down there on the bench.
And you can't blame him.
Maybe we could throw it across. David Muir back to serve. Not a smart play by Ralat, but he gets the ball down.
Well, he was aggressive for one thing, and it caught Penn State off guard.
Norman back to serve for the Dons. Ball and Papaleo get the block, but it's out of bounds. Side out, Penn State. Brian Miller back to serve. 2-1, IPFW here early in game number 4. There's a good overkill, pass kill by Ralat. Again, Penn State's doing a really nice job digging the ball, though, Dave.
But that time, too, IPFW, though, took advantage of the mistake and made them pay for it.
Ball's wide by Ricky Roper, point IPFW, 3-1. Loy had went up on that one, got some good overspin deep in the court, and he's going to go up again. Might have been long, but Roper plays it.
Yeah, he couldn't get out of the way of it, I don't think.
Muir off the block, though. If Muir hits the ball hard, it's going to be real difficult to keep that ball in play. Hernandez back to serve. He's going to go up. He serves into the net. We'll take those service errors.
Thank you very much. Yes, we certainly will.
Pepa back to serve. Deep into zone 5. Nice dig by Pepa. Over to Papaleo on the outside. Goes down the line. Muir thought it was going to be long. Tried to get out of the way. 4-1. Pepa Ralat. Ricky Roper, but dug by Ralat. Quentin Spiegel on the outside, kill down. Tom Peterson off the bench, going to call a timeout. 5-1, IPFW.
And as Coach Peterson must recognize, IPFW's execution at the moment is pretty sharp.
Well, again, it's what we saw in the first game and the second game. IPFW couldn't pass. Now Penn State's having a little bit of difficulty getting some passing in.
The College Cable Access Program Guide provides information about our programming, including IPFW sports telecasts. To receive your free Channel 6 program guide, send your name, address, and zip code to the following: College Cable Access Center at IPFW, 2101 Coliseum Boulevard East, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Zip code 46805-1499. Or call us at 481-6582.
Paper a lot. Service ace. Ricky Roper struggling right now. Again, this timeout doesn't work for Penn State. So frustrating, Dave, when you take that timeout and you expect to get the ball back and you don't. Service ace.
With that floater, it took a nosedive right at the end line.
Peterson trying to decide whether to take a timeout or makes a substitution instead. Brings in Ed
Josephowski?
Josephowski. Sorry, I struggle with that one.
We'll call him Ed.
Ricky Roper struggling a little bit with the passing there. So Josephowski comes in to pass. Actually, looks like Penn State's got 3 passers in there. Pretty unusual. Josephowski left-handed. I'm not sure he's a left-hander, but he hit that left-handed and got it in on the right-hand side.
Came in and made a very impressive play. 7-1, IPFW with a nice lead. Now let's see if they can execute and not let Penn State back into this game 4.
Carlos Ortiz. Nice play by Raul. Nice quick attack by Spiegel. Again, not aggressive play. You got to give him credit for that. But again, Dave, if that ball comes back over like that, you got to get that ball down.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly the kind of overpass that gives you a free shot.
There you see the replay. Ortiz continues, going to go up. Nice serve. That's the best jump serve.
Good execution on the return, the set, and the kill.
IPFW does a nice job. Quick set in the middle by Takuyak. Again, haven't done a whole bunch of attacking in the middle out of a regular straight quick set. Raul back to serve. Raul struggled tonight. Gets that one in. David Muir with a kill off the block. Side out, Penn State. Josephowski.
He is left-handed.
One-handed set by Loy Ball. Quentin Spiegel gets it down. Side out to the Volleyball.
Quentin's been having a pretty effective night.
Muir off the block into the PA speakers. Side out to Penn State. Hurricane back to serve. There you get a good shot of the 6'7", 210-pound freshman out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Quick attack in the middle, block.
And that may be Norman's best shot of the night.
That was an interesting play on Penn State's part, David. Ortiz went up for the block, got his hand on it, went directly to Hernandez, who set Ortiz for the kill attempt, but IPFW does a really nice job. Little miscommunication out of rotation, but IPFW picks it up before they lose control of the ball.
Yes, corrected just in time.
But the service there anyway, so the outcome's the same. David Muir back to serve for the Lions. Wish we could get a good look of Coach Ball calling the serve this area. Block at the net by Hernandez. 7-3, IPFW. Double block at the net by Hernandez and Miller. 7-4,
Timeout by
IPFW. Whip timeout.
As we look into the Penn State huddle, tune in to Channel 6 tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. to watch the Long Beach State University 49ers take on the IPFW Volleyball. Catch all the action of IPFW volleyball right here on Channel 6.
IPFW needs to get the ball back here, Dave, again. The reason for the timeout is to break the momentum of a team, so it's important that you use this to your advantage. David Muir continues to serve. Serves it wide, so even though IPFW didn't have to do anything, they do get the ball back. And Norman Amaldavar will go back to serve. 7-4 here in game number 4. IPFW trailing 2-1. Nice serve. Nice play by Ortiz. Miller with the kill.
Brian Miller didn't leave much doubt on that hit.
Ortiz made that play, though. He got down real low to get that ball up.
Yes, he did.
Miller to serve. Again, Loy has not had any success. Mura with the back row kill. Out wide. Again, I think IPFW got a little bit lucky, though, Dave. They had 3 or 4 overpass kill attempts that were dug. You got to get that ball down.
And Peter Kuyak was just able to jump out of the way of that ball.
I'm not sure they would have been better off playing that ball and trying to set a play.
Yeah.
Poor pass by Miller, 8-4. This is where we've got bogged down a couple times now. Ball's going to serve down. Lift by Relat. Again, they're just not sharp at the net, it appears to me.
Not consistently. They'll come out with 2 or 3 good plays and then fall back into the lull for a couple of plays.
Hernandez serves. Papaleo gets the combination kill.
And he left no doubt on that one.
Pepa back to serve. Are you going to see that combination play again? Back to live action. Looked real wide from where we are, David, but Lauren Jeeber down there calling the line said it got the line. Ortiz back to serve. Side out. Going to go up. Hits the net. Serves there. We'll take it.
Game number 4. IPFW leading 8-4 after winning game 3 after losing games 1 and 2.
Raul Papaleo. Service error.
Service error. And that's probably more service errors than I've seen out of Raul in quite some time.
And again, looking down at the bench, Arnie is just going crazy. Josepowski. Nothing fancy, but it's right there in the court. Norman Almodovar down the left sideline. Quentin Spiegel. Good picture of Norman. Combination with Hurricane on the end. Side out to Penn State.
Kevin Hurricane, the big freshman, 6'7".
Nice dig by Penn State, but it's not able to be played by any of the other players. Side out. 8-4. Been stuck here for a while. Peter Kuyak back to serve. Peter's been struggling with his serve.
IPFW needs to get off of that 8.
Nice dig by Spiegel. Spiegel gets a set. Nice dig by Josefowski.
Excellent dig.
And
good
Brian
play.
Miller gets the ball down. Again, Floyd Ball's not had much success. I know that Arnie's intent there is to play havoc with the defense of Penn State, but they've done a very nice job. I can't remember Lloyd getting a kill down tonight other than a couple of those misdirection plays.
Yep.
David Muir back to serve. Quick attack out of the middle by Felipe Relat. Norman back to serve. Service error.
It is amazing sometimes how contagious that gets.
There again, the advantage of being 6'9" at the net. That ball was clearly an overpass, and Lloyd's able to keep it in play. Lloyd Ball back to serve. Neither team can garner much offense here. Dump kill by Ortiz. Again, not very awake at the net on IPFW's part. Hernandez goes up. Service long. They've helped us too. I don't think they have nearly as many as we have, but they've had a few that have been critical. Pepa. Josefowski struggled. It'll be a free ball to IPFW.
Oh, good save. Great save.
The IPFW flag. Hernandez went all the way into the bleachers and ended up carrying the IPFW flag back onto the court, so they had to stop play. And Relat gets a service error. Ortiz with the serve. Nice play by Papaleo. Not a good set. Quick attack out of the middle by Muir. Point. First point we've had in about a rotation and a half, I think, Dave.
Yes, it probably was, and that was a good recovery from the first pass. The set got up there, and David Muir put it away.
Service error on Ortiz's part. Papaleo back to serve. As you mentioned before, Raul struggled tonight. Gets that one in. Ball's off for a lot.
I think maybe the service errors tonight have kept the crowd from getting too excited because there hasn't been any consistent stretch of good serves.
Josefowski with the service there. Quentin Spiegel back to serve. 8-5. IPFW leads here in game number 4. Overpass kill by Almodovar.
Now we're off of that 8.
9-5. Spiegel. Miller through the block. Side out to Penn State. Hurricane to serve.
And it's a service error.
Must be a breeze coming out of both ends of the gym, Dave.
Yeah.
Peter Kuyak. Peter also struggling serving tonight. Everybody's struggling serving tonight consistently. Hernandez with a combination. Muir to serve.
Little miscommunication, it would appear that time. I'm not sure what was supposed to happen.
A lot of miscommunication, Dave. That ball wasn't even close. Nine to 6. Muir continues to serve. The linesman called it in, Dave. I thought it was clearly out. Patty standing right there.
He was backing up. He was backing up. We got it down.
Correct call was finally made.
I believe it was the correct call. Norman Amaldavar to serve.
The crowd's going to get into this, see if they can help them out a little bit.
One way or the other. There, IPFW's up. Out of the back row. Took him 3 attempts, but he got it down.
He stayed right with it, kept making the good hit. Penn State with a timeout.
Dave, I think you got to say this, though, that if you're Penn State, you got to be a little bit upset about that. The linesman calls that ball in, and the up official overrules him at a critical juncture at this match, and IPFW gets the next point. So instead of it being 9 to 6 with Penn State serving, it's now 10 to 6 with IPFW serving.
As we see the huddle at the IPFW bench. Good shot of the crowd. Everybody enjoying the evening. Channel 6 is now accepting applications for underwriting the televising of IPFW sports events and other programs. For more information about how your business or organization can utilize this opportunity, call the Channel 6 office during business hours at 481-6582. And again, business hours would basically be Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
Now we're ready to get started here again. IPFW leads 10 to 6 in game 4. Norman Amaldavar, there's a good shot of the junior from Yaco, Puerto Rico. Not a good pass. Quentin Spiegel again. But blocks down in play. Side out to Penn State.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where you may not like the rally scoring that takes place in Game 5 if it goes to Game 5, but that's the best alternative IPFW has at the moment.
Right. Free ball to IPFW, they better use it. And they do. First time Lloyd's been able to take advantage of that overpass and get it down. Lloyd back to serve. Service 8.
So the score goes to 11-6, and the crowd again begins to get excited. They can anticipate now that opportunity for game point.
Muir from the back row, but good block by Relat and Papaleo. And Papaleo goes down.
Raul hammers one down the line. Up
Calls in the net.
He's got a call on the antenna.
Nope, I think he called in the net.
In the net.
So instead of 12-6, it stays at 11-6. Hernandez back to serve. Hernandez is going to go up. Not had very much success with that. Don't think that's a wise call on Penn State part. I don't think he's got a jump serve in yet tonight.
I don't think so either, and I think maybe he's tried it about his last 3 turns back at the serving line.
Relat to serve. Josepowski. Carlos Ortiz back to serve.
And I think that time Coach Ball was indicating to Relat that he served to the wrong zone.
Actually, at this point, Dave, you almost got to hope they just get it to any zone that's in play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Penn State overpasses out of bounds.
Under interesting play that time because they had a free ball, and all they had to do is get it over, and they put it out of bounds.
Papaleo back to serve.
Let's see if Raul can get in the groove here on the serve.
Peter Kuyak with a block. Coming right back at you.
Great reaction.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Keep it going, guys.
Well, Penn State gets a side out, but I'll tell you what, Dave, that was a great rally.
That's as good of a rally as you can get.
And IPFW was on the digging side most of the time. We've seen it the other way around, but IPFW played that very, very well.
And the crowd appreciates that last rally, even though it did end up being a side out for Penn State.
Josepowski.
Overpass. Look out. Overpass followed by an error, so we'll take it. Thank you very much.
Quentin Spiegel to serve. Ball spiked into the net by Miller. Excuse me, into the antenna by Miller. Point IPFW, 12-6. That ball went off Loy's head. He wasn't sure where it went. Nice serve by Spiegel. Nice kill by Hernandez. Hernandez playing a little bit of hot dog to the crowd.
Yes, as some basketball announcer would say, put a little mustard on it.
Michael Shaw in to serve for the Lions. They trail 12-6. Might have been a service error, but Raul plays it.
Boy, it was going to be close. It was going to be close.
Blatchley into the lineup to serve and play defense. 12-6. Chad's not been able to come in and give the same spark that he did against Ball State, but it's come in a couple times in crucial situations. Kill by Hernandez. Again, he plays to the crowd. I often think that can hurt you in the long run, Dave.
Yeah, I think if he gets this group too excited out here, why it may get the Mastodons pumped up at the same time.
David Muir. Volleyball with the dunk kill.
And again, for one of the few times tonight, that particular play, tip play, ended up with a side out for IPFW.
Moldovar to serve. Actually, I would have called a carry on Ortiz, but Tom Pingle, the up official, doesn't call it. But it is a point on the long kill attempt. 13-6. Norman to serve.
Penn State is beginning to look a little bit like them. Maybe they're running out of gas. They're a little sluggish.
Well, Papa's talking to the official. I think there's a lot of net talk going on. They call it trash talk in basketball. I think maybe the Puerto Ricans are talking to one another, Dave.
Yeah, it could be.
Miscommunication goes to 14-6. IPFW fans up on their feet. Number 1, Brian Heffernan, first time in the lineup, comes in for David Muir. All that was to break the momentum. Scott Lauer comes in to play defense for Quinn Spiegel. For IPFW, Arnie Ball says, here's what I want. Norman Amaldavar to serve. They want this point. Nice serve by Norman. Block at the net by Raul. Cross court set. Hernandez doesn't jump. Really poor ending to that game.
That's right. Penn State was not organized at all on that one and just kind of trying to stay alive, and it didn't work. IPFW pulls out game 4, and we're all knotted up. We'll be right back for IPFW volleyball action right after.
Jobs. It's top priority with many Hoosiers today. Good jobs with good futures. That's what Ivy Tech in Fort Wayne specializes in, training good people for good jobs. The skilled jobs Indiana's future needs.
Ivy Tech, what Indiana needs to grow. Call for enrollment information.
So you just want to be out, probably out in here is good enough. Why don't you just go?
Though the United States has only recently put environmental policy on its priority list, professors at Indiana University have for some time been conducting research on our changing surroundings. One of the first signs of environmental adaptation can be observed in the nation's water sources, and 3 IU studies are taking an up-close look. With the help of his assistants, Professor Bill DeMott takes a variety of measurements to determine the algae content of this freshwater lake.
And one of the problems you have in a lot of very productive lakes with too much algae is that there's lots of small fish. And there's so many small fish that they eat most of the zooplankton, so there's nothing left to eat the algae.
The algae plant grows out of control because small fish have reduced the number of these tiny algae-eating organisms. From the results of this study, methods might be developed to restore lakes to a more natural balance. Meanwhile, another project is underway to help scientists learn more about the direct effect of water pollution on aquatic life.
What I'm trying to model with these model streams is the effect of different types of application of a toxicant on the periphyton or algal community.
More simply, Professor John Michael Stewart hopes to discover the different effects on the environment that result from the continuous introduction of mankind's waste and the single contaminating episode.
Another episodic is the Exxon Valdez off Alaska. Continuous as septic tanks leak continuously, fuel storage tanks leak continuously.
In this study, the toxin zinc is introduced in various amounts to these vats of flowing water. The professor then measures the ability for living organisms to adapt or recover.
100 parts per million zinc.
This is the most likely place to find Professor Dan Willard on a Saturday. Willard's specialty is wetlands, and with the help of these students, the professor keeps tabs on the shallow water's ability to cleanse itself.
So that when you get floodwaters, it just soaks up the floodwaters and lets them out gradually during the course of the summer. A lot of bacteria and stuff in there cleaning up the water.
In the past 200 years, nearly 90% of all wetlands in Indiana and other states has been destroyed by agricultural and development practices.
That's a lot. 10% we could tolerate. 20% we could probably tolerate. But now we're eking away at that last 10%.
This is a look at just 3 Indiana University projects that measure the impact of human beings on the planet. Professors hope insights developed from such studies will be used to improve our damaged environment.
Welcome back here to game number 5. For those of you who aren't aware, this is rally scoring. Every serve counts. It's important to get the ball in play. It's important to be able to block at the net. Both teams now tied, 2 games apiece. IPFW going with the lineup that started game 3 and 4.
And
Penn
we
State.
guarantee that this is the last game of the evening.
And we got 2 more tomorrow night. Plan on coming out.
If you've just joined us this evening, why, stay tuned for the next about 15 minutes because it's going to be exciting.
Ortiz with a serve. Free ball to IPFW. Papaleo with the kill. Point number 1 goes to IPFW. Typically, Dave, you want that first serve to come to you because you think you can get a side out, and it's a point. You're going to see the play.
Be willing to bet that we're going to see fewer service errors than we've seen all night long.
Josepowski with the kill. 1-1. A little bit surprising, I think, to go to Josepowski, but at the same time, the other IPFW is not really expecting that either. Josepowski back to serve. Quick kill out of the middle by Penn. Dug by Ortiz, but he can't keep it. 2-1 IPFW. Pepe Relat.
I think he got the right zone that time.
Lift by Ortiz.
Well, early advantage goes to IPFW with the 3-1 lead and serving.
Miller with a kill down the line. 3-2. Hurricane back to serve. Papaleo.
Tremendous
Nice
dig.
But nice block by Spiegel and Kuyak. Peter Kuyak said he hasn't been serving very well tonight, but he's done a really nice job at the net.
Yes, he has. And he's come up with a couple of pretty big plays for the Dons.
Papaleo to serve. Hernandez is wide. No touch. Muir over talks to the official, but no call. 5-2. Papaleo continues to serve.
I know it's early in game 5, but I like their position right now for IPFW.
Actually, I thought that was a lift on Ortiz's part.
I like it even better.
Second no touch. Hernandez is going nuts. 6-2. Ortiz is going nuts. 4 officials, nobody called a touch. I didn't see a touch. Now, I don't know whether that was true or not, but I didn't see it.
I wouldn't be able to pick it up, I don't think, that quickly anyway. That's something you really have to be down there close to pick, unless there's a drastic misdirection of the ball. Then you can tell it was touched by somebody.
Well, IPFW picks up a 6-2 early lead here. And
the Don's happy if you take a look at him there. So's that young lady.
Raul Papaleo continues to serve after the Penn State timeout.
Papaleo will continue to serve.
Can't afford to fall down by too many in a rally score because all you got to do is side out. Nice kill by Miller, 6-3. David Muir back to serve.
That was almost out of the end of the gym.
Not even close. You mentioned a little while ago, Dave, Penn State might be getting a little tired.
They do look a little fatigued.
And you and I are going to have a tough task here trying to pick a volley down to the game. Quentin Spiegel gives it right back. 7-4. Miller to serve.
7-4 advantage in game 5.
Nice pass by Raul.
I don't think Penn State has put 2 points together in a row yet in this game.
Norman of Olivar through the block.
So at 8, they'll change ends of the court.
8-4.
And 8-4 is by no means an insurmountable lead, but it's an awfully nice lead for the Dons to have at this point.
Chad Blatchley going to come in after that exchange. Peter Kuyak to serve and play defense. Again, IPFW leads 8-4. And you're right, it's not insurmountable. We've seen it happen before.
And I'm not absolutely certain, but I don't believe IPFW has had a service error in this game yet, have they? Ooh,
yeah,
sorry about that.
Quentin Spiegel did, and now Chad Blatchley does.
Okay.
8-5. That was terrible. He did that in the Ball State match.
Yes,
exactly
he did.
The same thing.
That one was a little higher because he hit the bottom of the net that time. The other one he had was underneath the net.
Spiegel from the back row.
Good hit.
9-5.
Quentin with another timely hit.
Nine to 5. Norman Amolgavar to serve. Muir with the kill. Ortiz to serve. 9-6. I hate these matches like this, Dave. I'd much rather win in 3.
Or 4.
No, not a good play on Raul's part. Free ball back to IPFW, though.
And they're getting ever so closer at 10-6.
Yeah, I'd like to get a point here off our serve. Let you build a little bit bigger lead. Loy going to go up. A little scary, but he gets it in.
Well, I think he eased up on it a little bit that time and made sure it was in. And I believe it was probably a good call.
I'd question it. But he's the official.
You don't have bifocals either, so I...
as I tell my children, the official's always right, whether he's right or wrong. Josepowski back to serve.
It's going to stand, that's for sure.
Combination play, but Penn State digs.
And in game number 5, Dan, IPFW definitely has been the aggressor. They have hit the harder shots. Penn State has played a little bit more like they don't want to lose.
Well, I think, Dave, that's a typical reaction when you win the first 2 and then lose the second 2.
The wind's out of your sail a little bit.
And if they would have got up in this game, I think it might have been different, but they've been down. They've trailed pretty much from the start, so it's been a tough thing. Vapor Relat back to serve, leading 11-7. Again, I'd sure like to get 1 point here.
Well, that's a tough way to get it when David Muir hits it at you.
Well, and I really thought, again, that they could have called a lift on Ortiz, but they don't. 11-8. Michael Shaw into the lineup for Hurricane.
And although he might like it otherwise, I'm sure Coach Ball would be satisfied to just to trade points from here on out.
Ball's hit wide by Papaleo. 11-9.
And at 11-9, this next one is critical.
Shaw. Not sure that was a good choice by Loy Ball.
Yeah, that was a tough set for Felipe to handle. So here we are, 11-10.
critical timeout, I think, for Arnie and Volleyball.
Tune in to Channel 6 tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. to watch the Long Beach State University 49ers take on the IPFW Volleyball. Catch all the action of IPFW volleyball right here on Channel 6.
IPFW still up by 1, so with the side out here, they go back to a 2-point lead, and that's why I think Arnie took that timeout.
Yeah, very important.
Michael Shaw continues to serve for the Lions.
Down the line.
Raul Papaleo with the serve. Hernandez off the block. 12-11. David Muir back to serve.
I like him much better in the back row.
Although he hits, most of the time he hits pretty well out of the back row, too.
He hits in the back row, too. David Muir is probably the most enthusiastic player on the Penn State team. A couple of others are emotionally enthusiastic, but he's a player.
Nice dig by Josepowski. Muir doesn't get the ball over the net. Blocked by Amaldivar and Papaleo.
13-11.
Quentin Spiegel serve. Penn State doing a lot of mopping this game. I think, again, Dave, that's a sign of their fatigue and the fact that they were trying to break the momentum.
Timeout, Penn State.
13-11. Be nice to get 1 point here off the serve.
Now, Penn State has reached that point where they realize, too, they've got to do just a little bit more than trade points. Trade points, and it'll be over very shortly.
Penn State didn't take much of a timeout. Again, I think all they were looking for was break the momentum. Didn't want Coach Ball to be able to set much of an offense here. Quentin Spiegel to serve. Again, if you're Coach Peterson and you've looked at IPFW serving all night, a timeout's not a bad idea because there you get a service error.
Service error.
Service error.
Brian Miller serve. Quentin Spiegel off the block. 14-12. Peter Kuyak back to serve.
The Dons are knocking on the door. Will this be it? Battle here tonight. The Mastodons come back from 2 games down to win this 3-2.
Well, that was Dave. That was a very important match for IPFW to win because, as you mentioned, they dug themselves a deep hole and they have to come back out of this with some confidence that they could come back and beat a good team, number 1 of the top 10 teams in the country after being down 2-0. But at the same time, you hope they don't become so overconfident that they feel like they can always play at that level whenever they have to, because you're going to dig yourself a hole against tomorrow night against Long Beach State. You're not going to be able to dig yourself out of it.
And that competition is going to be a little stiffer. But on the other hand, it was one of those nights when I'm sure the Dons will feel like they have played better volleyball on many occasions. But tonight they played hard and stayed right with it and never gave up, hung in there and had a chance to win and took it.
Well, Dave, you're going to go down on the floor and interview our Dandy Don player of the game, who you and I both agree is Quentin Spiegel. We talked at length. It was a difficult decision because everybody had moments of playing very poorly, but others, all of them had good moments of playing very well, too. So I think that was a tough decision to make. But you're going to go down and talk to Quentin, and I'll try to carry on up here and sign us off the air when we get to that point.
We'll talk to you in just a few minutes.
Okay. Again, recapping tonight, IPFW wins in 5, 3-2. They lose the first two 15-10, 15-8. They win the next one 15-5. They win the fourth 15-6, and they win the rally score game 15-12. In tonight's first match between Ohio State and Long Beach, Long Beach comes away the winner. In 4, they win the first one 15-9, lose the second one 15-13, win 15-3, 15-10. So tomorrow night you're going to see IPFW versus Long Beach State at 8:15, and we'd ask you to come out and watch. We'll be right back for more IPFW volleyball action right after these brief messages.
This is just one of the many parts you can play as a young Red Cross volunteer. Volunteer and play your part.
Talk about unusual. How often do you see transparent televisions?
Americans have more money to spend on leisure activities than ever before.
When possible, children should trick or treat during daylight hours and be accompanied by at least one adult.
A boat, archaeologists believe, is from the time Jesus and his disciples fished on the Galilee.
For best results, fertilize your lawn when it is actively growing.
Many people suffer from allergies. Few understand them.
The tragedy of child abuse takes many forms, from verbal assaults to hurtful blows. But it is preventable, and we all have a role to play. If you know of a parent having difficulty, reach out, sit down and talk. And if you're having difficulty, get help for yourself. Talk to a friend. Sign up for a parenting class. Take time out. Don't take it out on your child.
Contact the National Committee for Prevention of Child Abuse.
I want to be a doctor, a judge, electrical engineer, a chemist, a dentist.
The American dream is alive, nurtured in part by the United Negro College Fund. The fund reaches out to deserving students with a quality education, an education that turns wonderful young dreams into realities.
I want to be president.
And you'll be tough to beat.
Please, support the United Negro College Fund.
What comes to your mind when you think about statistics? Polls, gambling, maybe baseball? Sure, but how about lightning, lobsters, music, chocolate cake, sex discrimination, heart attacks, potato chips, traffic, the ozone layer, Shakespeare, monkeys, dancing, drug testing? If some of these things didn't make your list, then you should be watching Public Television's new statistics series, Against All Odds.
All the teachers, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say.
The power of teaching.
The world won't get no better if we're just
The power to wake up young minds. The power to wake up the world. Teachers have that power. Reach for the power. Teach. I'm Edward James Olmos, and we're recruiting new teachers. Call 1-800-45-TEACH.
I never saw anybody light up a bar like Jack.
You can say that again.
He had a million jokes.
2 million.
Oh, a riot.
Oh, yeah.
One of a kind.
No kidding.
I swear, if I thought he couldn't drive, I'd have said something. You know? I mean, how could you spoil his fun?
Right.
Take the keys. Call a cab. Take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
We at IPFW are pleased to be able to bring you cablecast of NCAA athletic competition. We hope you've enjoyed the show and the excitement of intercollegiate sports from IPFW. To provide such programs, we need your support. With the help of many volunteers, we're able to produce these programs at a relatively low cost. Your contribution will help defray the production costs not covered by the Channel 6 budget. The College Cable Access Center invites you to invest in quality college programming by sending your contribution to the College Cable Access Center at IPFW, 2101 Coliseum Boulevard East, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46805-1499. Please make your check out to the Indiana-Purdue Foundation at Fort Wayne and designate it for the College Cable Access Athletics. This College Cable Access sports presentation is underwritten in part by a grant from the College Cable Access Incorporated of Fort Wayne. Again, welcome back to the Irrigate Sports Center, where IPFW wins in 5, 3-2. We're going to take you down to the floor to interview the dandy down of the game, Quentin Spiegel.
We're down on the floor with the dandy down of the night, Quentin Spiegel. Quentin, congratulations on a very, very tough match tonight. Penn State really came at us.
Yeah, Penn State wanted that match. They wanted that match bad. And I think we wanted it more. Once we realized that they weren't going to let down, we had to jump on them. We had to keep on them. We had to go right out through Game 5.
Well, I'm sure you guys knew that it's going to be a tough match coming into this one. Penn State is a much improved team, very tough. They've been tough in the years past. And some nights when it doesn't always go the way you want it to, you just have to hang in there and wait for your opportunity to win it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we did. I think we just waited for our opportunity. I don't think we really remembered what happened to us last year, how we got embarrassed so badly down in the Final Four, until we were actually in the match in Game 3. And then I think the tenacity just started showing up. I think everyone just started going for balls. People started hitting the smarter shots, and we just jumped on them right when we got a chance.
Kind of an interesting thing from the scoring tonight in terms of each of the games and how they were progressing. But as each game got to the point number 8, if we could get past 8 before Penn State was there, we won.
It's just numbers. I don't know about that.
You're right. But it was a tremendous effort all the way up and down the IPFW lineup. You guys may want to look at some of the service errors throughout the course of the night. But as you get ready for Long Beach State tomorrow night, we just say good luck and best wishes. And again, congratulations on tonight's Penn State victory.
Thank you very much.
We'd like to take this time to thank the Channel 6 volunteer crew and the Learning Resource Center at IPFW for their contributions to the live production of our volleyball match this evening. The telecast of this IPFW sporting event is copyrighted in the sole property of the College Cable Access Center and IPFW. Unauthorized copying, exhibition, retransmission, rebroadcast, or other use of this event without express written consent is strictly prohibited. Don't forget to tune in to Channel 6 tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock for more men's volleyball as the Long Beach State University 49ers take on IPFW. For Dave Skelton, this is Dan Gebhardt. Goodbye for now.